Hi everyone. We're on day 11 of the 12 epic bourbon days of Christmas, and we have a bottle today, actually two bottles, but Cream of Kentucky is a brand that really interests me. It dates back to 1888, and it has now been rediscovered by Jim Rutledge, who was the former master distiller for many years at Four Roses. I have tried Cream of Kentucky, the modern version, and to me, it's a very interesting, very great bourbon, and I'm anxious to go to the older one. The older one is 80 proof, the newer one is 102. Raj, where'd you find the older bottle?
Again, I found it online. It's actually a guy in Europe that has a collection, must be his grandfather's collection, but I do get some older bottles from him. Every now and then he'll show me something, and this one was one. I was definitely going to get it because I know how good the current version is. I was just curious about this one, and this bottle has a lot of history to it, too.
It truly does. Cream of Kentucky was a brand out of Cincinnati, and the Schenley Corporation, which we've talked about several times in this series, actually bought out the product just prior to the end of Prohibition. It became a leading brand in the marketplace.
So you mentioned Schenley bought that. The confusion I have is, did Schenley buy it directly from the Traeger and Company, because both companies were in Cincinnati, or did they buy that as part of the George T. Stack purchase? Because the Traeger Company was having George T. Stack actually distill this. So it was distilled at George, and then it was sold and marketed by Traeger, and then Schenley acquires the brand. I'm just curious if you know whether he bought directly because they were both companies in Cincinnati, or did he buy it through the purchase of Stack Distillery?
I'm really not sure, and that would take a little bit more research. To tell you the truth, one of the things I love about Cream of Kentucky is Schenley had Norman Rockwell under contract. Mm-hmm. And I literally, you were showing me your old Taylor collection of advertisements.
Right.
I actually found this one, and this is a Cream of Kentucky ad of a golfer cleaning his golf clubs, and this is a Norman Rockwell advertisement. And Norman Rockwell did a lot of things, and these appeared in Life and Colliers magazine, which were the big magazines of the day. These were full-page ads, and it highlighted the bourbon. And Rockwell also painted things like Aqua Velva advertisements and Jiffy Peanut Butter advertisements. But this one I really always enjoyed.
Hopefully he's not cleaning the clubs with the bourbon.
Yeah, hopefully not.
It's also interesting in the ad, there's a little bit of ice in it. Back in the day, everyone drank bourbon with a little bit of ice. Even Pappy drank it with a little bit of ice. And not neat. So and you can see that in the ads also.
I literally, I think it was from becoming an executive bourbon steward. I like to try it neat. Mm-hmm. I get all the flavor profiles up front neat, mm-hmm. and I don't like to water it down. However, there's been a few that I've added some water to that actually open them up. Mm-hmm. So, but I like them neat. I'm going to for a long time. Talk about Jim Rutledge has now,
Maybe we should take a sip while we talk.
That's a good idea.
Eager to try it. This is one that I was also waiting to open and try. Oh, wow. That's good bourbon. That's what I like about bourbon is there's you can try different bourbons and they're all good.
It reminds me the same kind of aroma and flavor profile of Old Taylor. Mm-hmm. An old style bourbon, not as much alcohol on the nose, a lot of vanilla.
Yeah.
Hardly any wood.
No. So you were telling us about Jim Rutledge earlier.
Literally, Jim Rutledge is trying to he's sourcing product to resurrect the brand. He has a great, sense of finding good bourbon. And literally, I think that eventually he's going to start his own distillery again for Cream of Kentucky. I'm anxious to see. So this is the 13. They also have an 11.5-year-old.
Yep.
And what I will tell you is the new one, I like the mouthfeel, and this has a similar mouthfeel to it.
Right.
Creamy.
This is actually my second bottle because the first one went down so fast. Yeah, I think Jim did a great job. The other thing about this brand is it connects so many different things in history. So if you think about it, it's Schenley, and we saw a bottle of Schenley, I think, on December 30th when we did the Ancient Age. And then you talked about re-bringing this brand back. So when the distillery then was sold to Ancient Age, they pretty much stopped producing this brand. So that was the time it got stopped, and then Jim brought it back up. But going back again in the 30s and 40s, it was the most popular brand. And the other part I also forgot is it's also associated with Bernheim Distillery, which, when Cincinnati was shut down, they moved production to Bernheim Distillery. And then when Heaven Hill's distillery burned down in Bardstown, they went and bought Bernheim. So all Heaven Hill products are made at Bernheim. So to me, this brand connects and touches so many different bourbons and distilleries and history. And it's another one that a lot of people don't know about.
Well, when he first released, Jim Rutledge first released his first version of Cream of Kentucky, it sold out really quickly. Part of the bourbon craze, but also partially because it was very good.
Right.
I will tell you that I think that a man who was a master distiller for a long time has
Four Roses, that's another connection.
Right, has a sense of good juice, and he finds good juice and he puts the Cream of Kentucky label on it. You just mentioned it again, how the bourbon industry is intertwined. They help each other. It's all part of the folklore that I love about American bourbon.
Yeah, and actually, Jim, if it weren't for Jim, we wouldn't have Four Roses today. Because back in the day, Four Roses was a premium brand, gets bought by Seagram, and it's a competitor Seagram. And from what I know, is that they got rid of the top brand and just kept the lower shelf brand that really killed the Four Roses brand. And then Jim was the one that went to Japan and found companies in Japan or investors that would be willing to buy that brand, and then he re-brought the premium Four Roses brands back into production.
Four Roses for a time was actually gone from the American market. It was sold in Europe, it was sold in Asia, and in Asia and Japan, it was a very popular brand. He brought it back, and this is another part of his historical movement, and I think he's going to be very successful in whatever he does.
Yeah, I've never met him. Maybe one day I'll meet him.
Raj, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, stop in tomorrow for the 12th Epic Bourbon Day of Christmas. We have a special one for you. Don't want to miss it.
It's my favorite one of all.